there's enough business to go around. That is 100% how I live.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets show. Today we are speaking with Liberty McLean. She's been in real estate for 7 years, done 77 deals in 2021, 27 million in volume. She's out there crushing it. Today we're going to be discussing hustle and mindset, lead generation, and realtor relationships. Liberty, thank you for agreeing to come on the show with us today to share your secrets to success. How are you doing?
Doing good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
there you
absolutely.
go. Yes, we can. We're super excited to have you on and to dive into your topics. But before we do that, let's give the audience a little bit of context, because you have one heck of a story that you started sharing with us. So take us back to 7 years ago and one day. Why did you make the amazing or terrible decision to get into real estate, and what your journey looked like?
Sounds good. So amazing or terrible? Good story. Good question. So back in 2006, I started working for a company. My kids were all in elementary school. And so I realized I need to get a job after I was done kind of raising them in their primary years. And so last one went off to kindergarten and I went off to work. I went to work for a company called housevalues.com. They were based out of Seattle, Kirkland, Washington area. And they had just put in a new branch over in my town, 2 hours away, called Yakima. So I was one of 100 salespeople calling on realtors all day long and selling them leads. And I did really well for that company. And in that short time frame of about a year and a half, I decided, man, I love these people. I love their lifestyle. I love their hustle. And I think that this is something I want to do. So I got my license in 2007. And right when I got my license, I think like literally a month later, everything kind of went downhill pretty darn fast. So with the Great Recession. So I found myself trying to sell homes where there really were no buyers. And we had in our town, we have about a population back then of about 150,000. And we had just a surplus of listings. So in our town, 1,500 or so listings, and then no buyers. So I was very bored and realized that I needed to probably focus more on my kids, and because I wasn't making a living doing real estate. So I let my license go. And then fast forward 10 years later, found myself in a place where I had a salaried position. I was a single mom at that time. Kids were mostly out of the house, but my brother is in the business in my same town. He's a realtor, and he encouraged me to get back into it. And so it was kind of a different market, and it wasn't gangbusters like it is today in 2022, but it was a healthy market. So I got my license again, hung my license with a company called Keller Williams, which I know you're familiar with. And I liked what they stood for, their values. And so I hung my license, and my first year I did 35 transactions, and I just had my head down and going door to door, doing open houses and doing whatever I could because I had to. I was living paycheck to paycheck before that, and I didn't really have a choice. So that's kind of how I got started. My second year I did right under 50. And then the third year I did 66. And then last year I did 77. This year I've already done 25. But that's kind of my story and how I got into it. It was really hard. It wasn't easy. So,
and yeah. I want to unpack your first year, but I have a sneaking suspicion your first two topics you're going to be covering are probably have a lot to do with your first year of success, because to go, although you had dabbled in it, let's say in the previous 3, or you'd done it for the 3 years, and literally the worst time you could have got into it as well. You know, it's like, what are the chances you get in? It's like the worst time. But like to come back at it from a pretty long hiatus, 10 years, nearly 10 years, and then to smash out over 30 deals in your first year is like seriously impressive. Like it's one hell of a feat to go from like nothing to 30. And you said you were living paycheck to paycheck. After year 1, you stopped living at paycheck to paycheck pretty fast, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah, that was, those days were old news.
Old news within about 3 months. No more paycheck to paycheck here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when it comes into, I know these are going to tie in quite nicely. So let's dive. I want to kind of plow straight into your topics because of your first year. So your first topic is to do with like your hustle mentality that you've got and your mindset around doing business. So unpack that for us. Why is hustle and mindset your first secret to your success?
Well, we just don't know what tomorrow holds. On one hand, I'm not desperate. We're not desperate, but I feel like there's a little bit of a sense of urgency. I think because it was so scarring and traumatic on the first time around with the recession that happened so fast. And they say, the leaders of my company say to pretend like we're on the verge of a recession, live like that. We just don't know what tomorrow holds. So because of that, I have the mentality kind of make hay while the sun is still shining. I still manage to have a life. I have some hobbies and so forth. So it doesn't take over my lifestyle, but it's a priority, and I do it well, and I'm present with my clients. But that's kind of my impetus for hustling is we just don't know what tomorrow holds.
And when it comes to your, I guess, mindset around that hustle mentality, was that something that you got coached on? Was it from your broker? It was like, this is how you should go about it? Or was it like situational, like you said, you were paycheck to paycheck? And also, I guess my follow-up question is, is there something you do to train your mindset? Is there a regime you have, a routine around that helps you always stay in the game? Because some people are in the game for periods and then they drop out, right? So I'd love to learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it's just in me. Every sales position I've ever had or job, I try to do it really well. And I know that every day is a gift. Like we don't know what tomorrow holds. I've lived long enough, and I think I was like this even when I was in college and growing up. Just that we don't know what it holds. Today's a gift, so why not make the best of today? So I read a lot. I listen to podcasts for encouragement. I work out in the morning. I try to have a routine, try to eat well. So I think I just am motivated to do well. I think it's intrinsic. And also I do get motivated by listening to other people's stories and kind of educating myself on what other people have done to be successful. So yeah.
It's a great podcast you should listen to with some amazing stories from top producers all over the country.
What's it called?
Elite Agent Secrets. Hell, if anyone wasn't listening to it right now, they'd never know. But one of the things that I think is interesting is you mentioned about having hobbies. And you said you don't let them take over your life, which coincides with mindset and hustle. I think the next step maybe to this is about boundaries, schedule, and routine, which you're coinciding, right? Which is like, okay, you've got this hustle mentality, you've got a mindset, but then also you've just said like, I eat healthy, I work out, I do X, Y, Z, I've got my hobbies. Like, so you have carved out boundaries and schedules for yourself and more importantly for your clients. So also explain a little bit more about that for our listeners, how you've done that, because I think that is something that people do struggle with, where it's like, I want the deals, what is it, commission breath, right? But it's like, I've got a family, I've got other stuff that I want to do to keep my sanity,
Yes, exactly. Outlets. I know I've been in sales long enough that I also have the mentality, there's enough business to go around. Absolutely. I'm not a jealous person. Like I'm always about encouraging others, my coworkers, my realtors in my office, whoever that I work with, I'm encouraging them. I'm excited for them. And I also know I'm going to be taken care of. I know I'm going to be taken care of. I know that there's enough business to go around. That is 100% how I live. Do I jump on opportunities? Heck yeah. But if, I'm also quick to, if one of my clients or someone that comes into my world wants help and they're already working with someone, I'm all about saying, hey, go back and work with that person. So that's my basis, is just knowing that there's enough, I'm going to be okay. And if I come from a platform or a space of desperation, it's not going to go well. It never goes well. And so just coming from I know it's going to be okay. And if I don't have business for 2 weeks, I know it's still going to be okay. And I'm going to do whatever I can to get the business, but I'm not desperate. And if we come from a place of desperation, it never goes well. So
one of the things about
insight. Yeah.
You mentioned then just about if I haven't got deals 2 weeks. And again, I know your first few years are going to roll into your first two topics, which is kind of rolling me. I want to roll into the second side, which is that whole mentality, which is, again, coincides with mindset. This is what I meant about your first two topics. It's the fact that it's like, well, there's plenty to go around. So you're generating enough leads that you're not worried anymore. Obviously, that deals are going awry or going to different people, helping them out because you've got more than enough for yourself. You might want more, but you're like, I'm not struggling to pay bills right now. You did 77 deals last year. There's a couple of bucks in your bank account there to pay some bills and overhead. A cheeky Ferrari or two on the off days, right? So when it comes to generating your leads, I wanted to roll that into that because that does coincide nicely.
By the way, would you consider yourself a maverick? Are you an agent, team leader, broker owner who's constantly striving, pushing boundaries and smashing goals? Well, we've already helped over 100 agents cross $100,000 and up in GCI per year. So if you're interested in learning more about our courses and coaching to help you scale your business, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.